Since you mentioned earlier that you do other things, not just act, you also produce and you write. How do you balance all of that? I mean, in terms
So
of...
nice.
Yeah, oh, well.
It makes me feel like I'm doing stuff like successfully on all fronts. There is a balance. There's, I think the acting, like I said earlier, it's kind of like some of it's a little out of your control. You know, you can go a lot of days on the calendar without having a good audition, but if you're sitting at home, you don't really have an excuse as a writer for not writing. So you can always kind of do stuff. So I think there's that type of balance. And for me personally, I've produced a couple things, but the majority of the stuff that I produce, I've had a hand in the writing or on the creative side. So balancing like that, it can, you know, if the acting's not happening during this month, year, decade, whatever, I can still fall back on that because I hold the power, at least to write it down.
And for most of what you're writing, they're mostly webisodes, or now you're transitioning more to longer?
Yeah, like every writer, everyone has their plethora. I've done a bunch of blog posts for random sites out there that have gotten picked up, but short form sketches. The web series is more like a, you know, think of a 5-minute TV episode, so it's more of a linear line. And then the company I write with now is features. So I've written like anybody that's a writer, you know, their first feature is not the one that goes. It's their 100th that they've written. So I've written a bunch before, but this was the first one where I had more of a structure or more of a business plan behind it, and more, you know, outside help and more eyes on it. I'm huge with collaboration. Like, oh, that idea? Yeah, that's better than mine. I'm going to write it, though, and steal it. Well, not steal it, but my name's on it. I don't know who I'm talking to over there. So it was a really cool, interesting thing with this new company that I've been writing with, because it was like they set out a plan. They're like, all right, here's like almost like a book, like with a publisher. Like, here's when we need the outline. Here's when we want the first draft. Here's when we're going to do our first table read. Doesn't have to be perfect. Let's just see what we have by that. And so it was constantly going back and forth with notes and how it could work. You know, keeping in mind, if this went, we need to keep in mind this budget. You can't write a movie that takes place on Mars with, I don't know, what's expensive to make? $50,000 check from my hypothetical friend that gave it to me, and I invested it in a camera.